Do you remember what it was like to be 13? Woo! From insecurities to first loves, this show is sure to have something for everyone. Hi, I'm Shelby Stricklin with Shelby Stricklin Team Remax Alliance. Coming up this weekend, February 24th through 27th, Lyrique Music Productions presents 13 the Musical. I had the honor and privilege of meeting with members of the production team and cast to talk all things behind the scenes. Here's what they had to say about it. Hello!
Hi.
Thank y'all so much for taking the time today. I'm so grateful to get to talk to you guys and hear more about your show. And I'd love to hear, if you don't mind, just each of you introduce yourselves and kind of tell, about your involvement with the show. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the show.
I am Amanda Hummelvig. I am an associate producer for Lyrique Music Productions. Lyrique Music Productions, also known as LMP, is the production company group that is putting on 13 the Musical. So I really do the business end of everything. So we handle the licensing from the show to booking the theater space, to helping with arrangements for rehearsals, to marketing, and all of those types of things. So that is my primary role. Our artistic director is Luz Ladrilano, and she is amazing. I have to say, I just have to do like a shout out to her because I don't think she gets the notoriety that she deserves. In terms of having been on Broadway, she has opened Broadway shows or been in the opening cast of Broadway premieres.
Yep.
She is just an incredible asset for this production company, and that was one of the big reasons that I began to be affiliated with LMP.
I'm Carly Parker. I'm the director for 13 the Musical. Miss Luz Ladrilano called me in a little bit after Thanksgiving of 2021 and asked me if I would direct 13, and I'm so blessed for the opportunity. And the idea for the show is a show for the youth, by the youth. So a majority of the creative team is led by teenagers. So I'm just a junior in high school, and our stage manager is a senior, and it's been really awesome to work with kids all across the board. So that's how I got started with 13.
I just think that's amazing. And when she asked you, were you like, sorry, what? I'm 16. Like,
they're on the phone. Yes, of course, I would love to. It's an amazing opportunity just all around. The people I've met, the leadership skills that I've strengthened. It's truly an amazing opportunity. So I feel so blessed.
I just think it's really cool. And have you directed before or assistant directed? Or, I know you've been in theater for a while. We've done a show before together a long time ago. You were a lot littler then.
But in 2019, LMP did Matilda the Musical, and I was the student director for that. So It was my first experience ever directing anything. So it was really cool. And, as an actor, you see how much work it goes in, but you never know. So student directing was the first little introduction to it. And this is just full on. It's crazy.
There's a really big part of LMP that people should know about, that our mission is, well, first of all, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're based in Madison County in Huntsville. And LMP has been around for 10 years. So this is actually our third time producing, not me personally, but for LMP, the third production of 13 the Musical. It's really become kind of a fun, something that the kids look forward to as they're moving up in age in the theater world locally. And part of the LMP mission, a really important part, is to mentor younger leadership into theater roles. LMP is really focused on getting the younger talent to have the experiences they need to continue to move up and make this a vocation and a lifelong vocation if they choose to do that.
Harley, you just reminded me that sounds like you and our next guest have worked together before. Matilda.
Yeah,
so Erin, hello, friend.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm Patrice in 13 the musical. And how I got started with LMP in 13 is I heard about Miss Lou's all over town, just wonderful things. So I started doing voice lessons with her. And she asked me to do one of her topsy-turvy cabarets, and I just fell in love with it. It was so fun and I enjoyed it so much. And then I just kept on doing voice lessons and I did Matilda in 2019. And then COVID happened, but I kept on doing voice lessons with her and then auditioned for 13 and I got Patrice. And it's been such an amazing experience getting to work with a creative team of people who are just a few years older than me. I mean, it's just been so wonderful to see that these teenagers who are just, like I said, a few older than me, few years older than me, getting getting to do these things and getting this wonderful opportunity. And I just think it's really cool that LMP is doing this and that I've gotten to be a part of it and been able to work with Miss Carly and other people on the crew and my fellow castmates. It's just been a really great experience.
So is this the first time you've had a director that was as close in age as you are?
Yes.
I mean, she assistant directed before, it sounds like, but
and it's just been wonderful.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's easier to bond and relate to Carly and Bryson, who our stage manager, Hugh. I don't know, but it's just been really easy to bond and relate and understand some of the things they're trying to achieve in blocking or choreography. And it's just been a really awesome, unique experience that I didn't know I would be able to do a couple years ago or even a couple months ago.
Yeah. It's a really cool concept. I had no idea that 13 had become not an annual thing, but a thing that reoccurs. I think Robert told me there was a certain number of years that
every 5 years. Yeah.
5 years. Okay.
This one's been delayed a few years by COVID, but we're back on track.
Like everything else. Obviously, this is very centered around 13. We've got a lot of young actors and directors and that sort of thing. So tell us a little bit about the show itself, like what it's about, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a coming of age story, really. And it is about a young boy named Evan. He lives in New York. His parents are getting a divorce, and he is sort of displaced because of the divorce in the middle of Indiana in a small town. And so it is all of the folly and hilarity and, it is truly, truly very funny. But it is about what it's like when you're 13. I mean, the lyrics, so the music and the lyrics is composed by Jason Robert Brown. He is a 3-time Tony Award winner. He's actually, LMP has brought Jason Robert Brown here twice for master classes. He is amazing. And the music that he writes, some of the lyrics, and Carly and Aaron know them better than I do, but it's like, why is my brain going crazy? Why are my friends acting crazy? Why does it feel like my life is in danger? Yeah. Why do I feel like my brain disappeared? I mean, it's all of those weird, funky feelings when you're 13. And what comes out of it is hilariousness, how boys act, how girls act, how they act together.
Called hormones.
I mean, it is like a laugh after laugh after laugh. I appreciate so much watching it, and I will be in the rehearsal space sometimes, and just the kids don't realize how funny they are. Yeah. And I will be watching it not very frequently, and then I'll come in and I will be laughing, and they're all like turning and looking at me like, well, that is funny. We forgot we're so I really encourage people to be ready to laugh. It is a hilarious story.
Well, Erin, tell me about your character, and because I'm thinking of the things I know that you've done before, and you've probably never played your same age before, or like how closely do we relate to this character?
So you're right. I've never played somebody the same age as me. I mean, in Matilda, Matilda's like a first grader. She's like a kindergartner. And then recently I did the Addams Family at AAA, and I was Wednesday Addams. She's all grown up in that. She's 18.
Yeah.
And I'm 13. And so it's kind of nice to be able to play somebody who I can relate to a little more. Personally, there aren't a ton of things I can relate to Patrice's situation specifically, but I definitely felt some of her emotions of being lonely and hurt. In the story, she becomes best friends with Evan when he moves there, and then the moment that they get to school and he wants to fit in with all the cool kids, he basically just exiles her and stops being her friend. So I think there are moments where I can definitely, as a 13-year-old, relate to those feelings of sometimes feeling like I don't fit in or feeling lonely. But I will say that I've been lucky enough to feel pretty accepted and happy in my social stance. And also at LMP, I have a lot of friends. And even when I do feel like maybe lonely or something, whenever I go to rehearsal, just the environment is just so great. And I have so many people who are also 13, 14, going through the same things as me. And it's so nice to have just such a wonderful atmosphere of people who I can just be myself around.
I think that's one of the gifts of theater in general. And now you're doing it with, your peers, and you're addressing things and feelings that y'all don't probably normally talk about, and so it's giving probably everyone involved a really safe space, to address those, like you said, Amanda, it kind of is hitting some of those issues, I don't want to be.
It's a hilarious show.
I don't want to be 43 either, by the way, but
right.
I want to be 13 again.
We all have our things, right? But I mean, you're hitting it right on the head. What I said earlier is that it's hilarious, but it's hilarious because most of us have been there before. Yeah. But it also has its touching moments and its moments of seriousness where these 13-year-olds connect very deeply.
Yeah.
So I think that's super important to note also.
Yeah, for sure. Well, do any of you have like a favorite part of the show that you like to talk about? Carly
I'm
does.
gonna let Carly answer.
I can tell. Go for it.
My personal favorite part of the entire show is it's in the opening number, and all of the kids are lined up and they're talking about their problems as 13-year-olds, and it just brings me back. It brings me back to being in middle school and thinking that like my grade on this math test is going to be the end of the world. And it's just this universally shared experience of your world as a 13-year-old, and I think it's so powerful, and it's also hilarious. It's your track meets, their Spanish tests, and the importance that kids put on those things. And I just think it's uplifting, it's cute, it's sweet, but it's funny, and just throughout the show, reoccurring. And then of course, 13-year-old love and the humor in it is it's a hilarious aspect of the show. He said, she said drama, all of it. The essential parts of being 13. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. What's been the most like kind of challenging thing as you've gone through?
I think balancing as a director, it's not just the cast, it's the crew and a little bit of producer and a little bit of lighting and set, and working with all of that all together it's unlike I mirrored by nothing else comes close to directing. Working with the kids is one thing, but when I go home, the work is not over. It's going, meeting with producers, and then meeting with the tech directors and crew chiefs. And that's been the most challenging, I think, is all of those things. And I've had terrific mentors, Lynn Broad and Luz Ladrilano and all of the others. There's so many other people that have really mentored me through this, but I think just learning, as an actor, you just don't know those things. So that's probably been challenging.
Yeah.
Shelby, I would say, from a producer standpoint, we have all the challenges that we typically have on a show. So we're accustomed to that and ready for those. What we really had to roll with the punches this time with COVID, and I'm sure you've heard that from other productions as well. Just finding the right path in terms of setting guidelines for if someone does get sick. One thing that we established, and there were probably some folks that thought that we were being a bit conservative on the vaccine thing, but we require all of our cast and crew to be fully vaccinated in order to start rehearsals. And everyone was very respectful of that. And in addition to that, we also required masking at the rehearsals. So you might feel like, it's going a bit far, but actually we had kids that did get sick with COVID, kind of this latest strain. But what we did was then we kind of, we really had to punt. So those kids were on Zoom for 7 days at rehearsals. Like I've never had. I know. I've never
had. You just zoomed them in, like
we're doing right now. Like we're doing right now, and so we are setting up Zoom calls. Sometimes there'd be one cast
singing
member
and stuff, like with the chorus, or
on the laptop, like I'm you right now, and then show them where they're going. And
that's awesome.
They would do the blocking. I mean, Carly totally rolled with it. I mean, she just like, we were all just like, okay, what do we got to do to keep going?
Yeah.
And those kids, I mean, I will say they bounced back quickly and they knew. I mean, we had like 8 weeks to do this whole thing. We started rehearsals when we got back from Christmas. We did a little bit of music before Christmas, but we started rehearsals when we got back from Christmas. So we had like 8 weeks to do this. And everybody knew, like, I'd have to be on top of it. So I would say from a producer standpoint, just having things, you couldn't be prepared for all of it. And then we had to have a really tight team that was, that worked together, found proactive solutions, and then found solutions that we didn't know we would have to come up with. And just working with amazing people really helped us do that. And everyone was super respectful. Parents were very respectful. The cast, everyone just was very positive about working toward our goals. I found that to be, where it could have been a negative thing, trying to deal with all the issues associated with COVID. I found it to be a very uplifting thing, and just seeing people pull together. And hopefully it'll never be that hard again.
Yep. I'm scared to say it out loud, but I feel like we're past most of this.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, we are so thrilled, knock on wood, we're so thrilled that right now our cast is healthy. We are requiring masks of our audience, and that is for the protection of our audience, but also for the protection of our cast and crew, because our cast gets to be unmasked. And we feel like that brings out their best actor. We're going to get their best performance because they're being able to communicate with each other and with the audience fully. So we are requiring that's something to know that, and we'll have masks, we'll have extras there for people if they forget or whatever. But
I am very excited though to finally be at least past COVID enough to the point where we can be unmasked. I mean, I haven't done an unmasked show in almost, I think, a year, probably more. Yeah. So I'm just so excited that we've taken these precautions and that everyone right now is healthy and they're at rehearsals and we're looking good for shows and tech week, and that we can be unmasked and back to some sort of normal in the theater. I find it very exciting. I'm really thankful.
I was really excited when Amanda said just now that y'all weren't going to be wearing them, because as an audience, it's tough, especially with the ones that aren't clear, and that kind of thing. Like, it loses a lot, so yeah, I can relate to that. So yay, especially for you, Erin. You have performed in a mask a lot, and I have seen most of it. So I've never seen an LMP show that did not have an insane amount of energy, and that is always my favorite
energy
part. And I always leave there like my face hurts, you know, I'm like, and this thing happens and it's just like, I don't know. It's just amazing to me.
Thank you. That's an awesome, awesome compliment.
It's true. But sometimes I'm like, ow, I think I had a great time. My face hurts. Great problem to have, by the way. So I'll take it.
Right.
Well, I look forward to seeing y'all next weekend. I'm so grateful that you took time to do this. I think people really enjoy hearing a little bit more about how the rehearsals go and the characters behind it and all the players. And I've had a great time talking to you guys. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Amanda. Bye,
Thank you,
Carmen and Aaron.
Shelby.
Thank you. Good to catch up with you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having us on. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this information valuable. If we can answer any questions or get you any additional information, please just let us know. We are always happy to help. Bye.